Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for waiting, for bearing with us. Um, we are joined by Ekaterina Savosina. She's a fashion designer, footwear designer, and we're just happy to have her today and show us a little bit about her process. I saw some of her work on Instagram and just really loved the organic and sort of flow and design and style in your designs, as well as just like your exploration in fashion and in shoes. And I think it just brings a really interesting kind of angle to how you use Gravity Sketch and how it fits in your workflow and your overall like fashion design workflow. So it'd be really cool to hear about that in a minute. But thank you for bearing with us. My name is Jaron Dorman. I'm the design community manager at Gravity Sketch, and I talk to all of you and answer your questions, and obviously get to meet wonderful people like Ekaterina. So uh, feel free to ask questions to myself or for Ekaterina during the live. I'll try and shoot them over to her when it makes sense. And so we're going to start a little bit in just some back and forth. Katerina is just going to share about her background and process, and then we're going to hop into co-creation and look at some of her designs. If that doesn't work, I have also her file. We can check that out as well. So we'll see how it goes. But without further ado, Katerina, I'll let you introduce yourself, and maybe if you could just tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Yes, sure. I mean, thank you so much for inviting me. This is really exciting. And okay, so my name is Ekaterina Savosina. I'm from Russia. I lived in UK for 17 years, and I am a footwear designer. I design other products, and I'm a freelance designer at the moment, so I do product design, graphic design, and footwear design. My work varies now. My background is I graduated from the University of Arts London in 2012, and I then relocated to Dubai, and I worked there for a few years. I worked for one of the biggest Middle East retailers, and I looked after two brands. You probably know this one in USA. It's called Fisher Price, and the other one is Right. So I design kids' shoes, and I also designed a couple of designs for ladies, for handbags, and I did some footwear design for ladies as well. I then moved on to work for another smaller company, which had about 16 stores. The previous one had about 120, if I can remember that correctly.
Wow.
And I worked as a ladies footwear designer for a smaller company, and that role also involved working closely with buyers and with marketing team and sales team and visual merchandising team. So I got to know all the aspects of the business and what works and how one department can contribute for the success of the other department. And also during my university years, I did placements for John Lobb. Maybe some of you know John Lobb. It's one of the best bootmakers in London. I think there's only two. John Lobb is very famous for good quality footwear. They produce shoes for royalty and for rich and famous. I think a pair of shoes there, the minimum price is about £2,600.
Wow.
Plus VAT. Yeah, while working there, I saw, how they craft each last for each customer and the process, how long it takes, and it's the people who work there. They've been there for many years, and the business went from one generation to another and another. And it was really great to be part of that, to see this come alive, those beautiful shoes. I saw Princess Diana shoes as well, and some of the rich and famous who died.
Wow.
And I also had placement for Armani in their showroom in London, as well as the Jazz and B, who's the luxury handbag designer in London as well. So this was my overall experience of fashion, footwear, and after that, I went on maternity leave, and I concentrated only on looking after my son, and I enjoyed being a mother, but it also made me to reflect on all the work that I've been doing, and to see the value, and to really prioritize what is it that I really want to create and make. And after that, I started to concentrate on the things that I really, really love. And I no longer could see myself, working somewhere away, or working, for example, traveling all over the place, all over the country, and really looking for something more flexible. So I started to take on different jobs, and one of the first jobs that I did was actually I started working as a nail technician, and that was for me just to get out and just to get back into the creativity. And it was really hard for me in the beginning, because as a nail technician, it takes like 1 hour and a half to make those beautiful nails, and for me it would take like 4 hours. But still, it was something that I took on that challenge. It was actually by accident. I was recommended by my mom to somebody who owned a beauty salon. She said, "Oh, my daughter can, do nails," and I couldn't. And so I just, I dragged myself into this, and then I had to become the best at it, which I have. And I love the process of actually making. And when I was at university, the concept, the ideas and designs were all part of the making process. We were constantly making things. And when I went to work, no matter what company I went to work for, there was no of this kind of making and creativity. There was just a very fast mass production and fast-paced fashion. So I had to reflect, and I realized that I do want to make things, and I want to have both. I want to have the making element, as well as the innovation, and as well as the trying to resolve problems and create something beautiful, something that is appealing, and something which will be a good quality.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a really interesting and journey that you've gotten to where you are now. Obviously, like your son changing some things, as far as prioritization of things, but it's put you interestingly now in this place where you can explore solutions and explore just like new ways of doing things, I guess. Obviously you're using new tools, VR, things like that. I just want to bring it back just briefly to just the industry of fashion for a minute. I just want to ask you what your thoughts were on the industry of fashion today in regards to like originality and creativity, and maybe even innovation in fashion.
Yeah, sure. It's never been about fashion for me. It's always been about making, innovating, and resolving some of the issues that are out there. all of my projects at university were to do with sustainability. And my last project was, I'm gonna just quickly show this shoe that I made myself. It's a little bit
Wow.
bumpy at the back, but you know, so what I did, I have discovered this technique by making things myself. So I collected pieces of leather and then I rolled them together, different colors, and I glued them, and then it almost like created a wooden effect when you sand it all down. And I created beautiful pieces like this one,
Wow.
and I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah. Wow.
So I
That
started
looks amazing.
experimenting. This is what I mean about making and being creative with your hands.
Mm.
And so I started this when I was at the university, and when I started to embark on this journey of creating something after my nail experience, I became more confident in my craft and in my making skills again. That I started exploring different ideas, and so what I did, I made these prototypes. I'm not sure if you can see them.
Wow.
So these are just first prototypes, and these are vegan shoes. So
Wow.
this one is made of pineapple leather, Pinatex,
That's amazing.
and this one is made of apple leather. It has got another color which is white,
I didn't even
and
know that was. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's amazing.
beige. Yeah, it was a year of work, and you know, it was very difficult project, but it was very exciting as well because I met so many different people. I have discovered, with the help of other people, I have discovered, you know, innovation centers, people in Amsterdam. So we actually went to Amsterdam to pick up a block of this recycled plastic. So this hill was one big piece of plastic, which was made from plastic bags, milk bottles, and everything which is in your recycling bin. So we brought this big block of plastic from Amsterdam, and we CNC milled it into 12 different heels. And
Wow.
we put them on the shoes that were made in Brazil out of apple leather. And so these were the, you know, the samples.
Wow.
And my original spec sheets, I'll just show you quickly. So this was my business plan. This was my book of business plan, and these are my sketches and design ideas and how I kind of imagine that it will look. It looks a little bit different. So this project is still ongoing. You know, so many years, and I am still, you know, looking at it, and because it does take time, it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, and
Yeah.
you know, to develop something like this. And I think what digital sampling allows you to do is to have those creative ideas before you actually make them. You know, I can't even tell you how many samples from different
Yeah.
different materials I had to make to be able to even picture in my head how it would look like. So it's still a journey, and you know, hopefully with Fusion 360 that I'm using now and Gravity Sketch, I will be able to explore these ideas and take this project to the next level, as well as the other, you know, other projects that I'm working on at the moment. And you know, the digital sample that is on the Instagram right now have just been printed, and this one is the 3D version of it.
That's awesome. Wow.
So this was created in Gravity Sketch, and so originally I created this sneaker, and just when we are gonna go jump into Gravity Sketch, I mean, my original sketch doesn't look anything like this. And what I did later on, I removed the upper, and there was a sock as well, and I just made this lace bigger, and then I made it into
Wow.
a sweater.
That's amazing. And it really seems like that hands-on sort of thing that you love about the exploration process, it really translates well into VR, because I mean it is kind of like a hands-on process, even though it is digital. You are moving and manipulating things with your hands, and discovering sort of like new design directions, like you just explained, with that sandal design. But that's a really cool process. And so you were talking earlier. Did you say that it was like you were sanding down the leather and it became like a wood sort of texture? And so is it like compact leather, just like all on top of it? It's like solid leather, or how is it constructed?
So what happened was I just took pieces of leather and I cut them into squares, and then I covered them in glue, and then waited for it to dry, and then I heated it up, and then I rolled it, and then I did the same with the next one, and so they were like rolled on top of each other.
Yeah.
But when you cut wood, because the way that wood grows, the tree grows,
Right.
it has got those layers.
Right.
And I didn't expect that this will be so beautiful when I cut it into pieces.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to imagine something like that in my head.
It's like you had to just explore with your hands, go through some process and just discover it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of my samples. I mean,
Wow.
it could go wrong, it could go right, and by
Wow.
exploring with your hands and just gluing things on top of another, you then discover something really beautiful, and you discover new techniques, and it could, designers have this way of looking at things, and then they just see differently somehow, or some people look at the banana and they see the sneakers.
Right.
Yeah, so
that is such an amazing process, and I'd never even heard of actually apple skin leather before, or some of these other vegan leathers. I'd never heard of that. I'm also not super well versed in the world of textiles or materials, but I just think that's so cool. Well, I just want to ask you, and I guess this will be the last question, I guess, and then we can move probably into VR and take a look at one of your designs. But how do you see VR changing the way we create and express our ideas then? In this case, like fashion design, footwear design. I mean, obviously you're using it. How do you see it? How do you see VR changing that?
Well, I think for different industry, it will be obviously different, but overall, I think it will just enhance the presentation of the product or the service that you are trying to present to either your clients or to your boss, and it will make it more real. And I believe for designers, they will be able to express their most structurally complicated concepts in a way that they were not able to do before. So I think there will be more of their difficult shapes and complicated structures, and it will definitely change the way designs are presented.
Yeah.
It could be done in digital way.
And I also think about what you said a minute ago too, which was like for you, it was helping with cost too, of just like really,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, like just finding out if this design's really going to work or if you really should spend the effort and time in actually fabricating it. Maybe once you make it in 3D and VR, you discover want to change something or you want to tweak something about it, and it's free to do that. It costs nothing.
Yes.
So that totally makes sense. And yeah, I think it seems like cost is definitely a big thing as well. Um, so I guess we can probably hop into co-creation now and take a look at your sneaker that you've created.
Yeah.
Um, let's hop in. I'm gonna hop in co-creation, and then I'm gonna see if I can get this camera switched over as well, video feed. Let's see here. In case everybody wondering that's watching, I had a little accident lately, so my hand is bandaged up and got a little bit of chin abrasion here. So. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Smooth that over. Okay. Here for creation.
I've just created a room, if that helps.
Oh, perfect. What's it called?
Ekaterina?
Perfect.
Oh, I can see you.
I'm going to turn on my vertical lock here. There we go. Awesome. Make sure everybody else can see. Okay, it's looking good. I'm going to turn on smooth head cam as well. Great. Awesome. So feel free to bring it in. Bring the shoe in if you like.
Oh, I'm not sure how to do that.
Okay. Let's see if I think I can do it actually real quick. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, actually, let me see. I think I might. Oh, yeah, I've done it.
Oh, there it is. It's just really big.
Okay, we're just inside. Yeah. Oh, it just disappeared.
Let's see. Here, I can bring it in. I think I have it right here.
Okay.
Awesome.
It's looking very different.
What's that?
It's looking a little bit different.
Okay. Is it like a different color or something, or?
Oh, yeah, so like basically this fits here. You know, that wouldn't be there.
It looks like it's kind of low poly.
Yeah.
But I think if I just convert to subdivision, do that. And how does that look?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Just had to convert it into sub D and smooth it out. So yeah, do you want to just quickly talk about your design here?
Yes, sure. I mean, I was hoping that you will have a sketch. Oh, I do have a sketch here, so I can bring this one up. I don't know where would be the best for me to put it. So this was my original sketch. You can see how different that was. Um, that
Hmm.
is from this actual shoe.
The sketch isn't
So
showing
I
up for me
really love
yet.
the way that. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a purple square. So, is the sketch in the
Okay.
email you sent me?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's just a rough idea.
Yeah.
And what I was able to do is just to really explore and to carve this outsole in Gravity Sketch. And like I said before, it's nothing that I could have kind of imagined or drew on a piece of paper, I don't think, without exploring this in Gravity Sketch. And then what I did later on, not sure why there is a hole there. What I did later on, I just basically removed, I removed this one, and then I just made the lace bigger, and
Wow, that's cool.
I made this into a slider.
Wow, that's
But
amazing. Yeah, you're we can see your sketch now too on the um, in the screen here. So that's really amazing. So you just removed it and scaled it up, and then it's like now it's a brand new shoe.
yeah,
That's really
yeah,
cool.
that's what I did. Um, So and then you can change the color to
Right.
white.
And how was it sort of using the sub D features to like explore sort of the sole design here? Like it's very organic looking, which is really cool. Um, did you just kind of extrude some shapes and then just push and pull out of it, basically?
Yeah, I did. I just I just did this, and I just moved these points into different directions, and looking at my sketch, and then I used this cool feature which is called a smooth tool to smooth some of the edges that
Yeah.
look rough. Um, and yeah, so it was just like working with a carving tool, really. It was very similar.
Yeah, kind of like sculpting or something
Yeah.
in a way. Um, so, what are your plans next? Is this has this kind of sparked more maybe some more ideas that you might have to like explore in VR, like some things you want to try out?
I think I would definitely like to explore a little bit more because this is just my first model in Gravity Sketch.
Wow.
And I want to create more
Yeah.
and and see what I can do. And I love the idea of 3D printing it, and perhaps 3D printing it in flexible material, and maybe
Yeah.
3D some actual sliders that I can wear. And of course, the digital sampling is great. To be able to show something to your client who can just look at the shoe different direction and
Right.
just say, can you please change this color to blue, and you can do that straight away.
Right. Yeah, it is super powerful, and we have some footwear designers that we've talked to and tried to learn about their process, and what's valuable in the footwear design process, and they've given us tremendous useful feedback as well as to what they find useful, and what makes sense to them, and they've said similar things in that like the digital prototyping, you can just build all the layers, all the different fabric layers that you want, and then there's no there's not much to be left to interpretation, I guess. Like, sketches can be kind of deceiving, but a 3D model, I mean, there's no, it's very clear, it's very final, I guess. So I see you're bringing some other images in here.
Yes, absolutely. I was trying to show this really cool feature that I saw the other day on one of the YouTube videos, and it's basically using a picture as a swatch.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to show that now, and I can't remember. I'm trying to release one of the buttons, and I can't remember which one I should really release first.
Oh yeah. So
I think, do you want to try that?
yeah, sure. So basically, it should be working. Basically, whenever you bring an image into your scene, you can now use that image as a material or a texture. So if you hold an object and then you press your button down, yeah, it doesn't seem to be working for me either. It's just a solid color. We'll definitely have to send that to the. Oh wait, maybe it did it there, kind of. Do you see it on your end?
Oh yeah,
The texture
yeah.
on there. Yeah, so it worked on that one. There's the elephant one. There's the shoe one. That's actually pretty cool. So it is working. It just took a minute to work, I think.
Yeah.
And then I would change it probably to like a
I've
basic
just
material, just so it has like shading on it. Yeah, it's really fun. By the way, for anyone watching, and I don't know if you've seen this yourself, Ekaterina, but these there's this brush stroke that comes in stock with Gravity Sketch, and so you can use that as a texture as well. Um, so I could draw and then select that, change the color to like orange, and now I have like kind of a painterly looking stroke. And then you could maybe make it black if you want. You have some like kind of different textures in your strokes.
I still can't change it. I don't think.
Oh, it's not working for you still?
I no. Oh, see, that looks just like something else, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't look, it's kind of transparent.
How gorgeous is this? This is just,
It's actually really cool looking.
it's so cool.
Yeah, I would love to experiment. I haven't quite experimented yet, but I would love to like import other like brush textures like this to try and see what other textures you can do. And we've even discussed internally being able to control sort of like the UVs of images on models, so that you can kind of control where the texture falls and how it kind of lays over your model, instead of just kind of randomly, whatever your model is, just as however it applies the image, which can be really cool, because that means like, especially for footwear designers, fashion designers, anybody that's doing soft goods or things that require a fabric pattern or texture, you can have a little bit more control as to how it looks on your model inside Gravity Sketch. So we've been talking about that. I don't know as far as the implementation of it, how feasible it is, but it's definitely come up in discussion. I'd love to ask you what just specifically a little bit more about Gravity Sketch. What's been some of your favorite tools thus far? I know it's been kind of early in your journey of using it, but are there any things that you really liked, and maybe some things you really haven't liked, things that you wish were better, that would make it even more powerful of a tool in your workflow?
Yeah, I mean, I like all of the, I like all of the tools. I watched some of the tutorials back a couple of years ago, and I can't believe how far um, Gravity Sketch, Gravity Sketch has come. A lot of these features were not available back then, when some of the designers were sharing their YouTube videos. I suppose if I would add anything, I would add thickness. What I struggled was to create solid shapes. So when you make
Yeah.
when you make a shape, when you use even like surface tool. Oh, this is so beautiful. Then, um, you know, you create one part of it, one side of it. You can mirror it, of course. But then, even with the shoe that you created, and I listened to your, watch your YouTube video and followed it step by step. What you then did was basically dragging the surface down and roughly creating the inside surface.
Right.
And I just wish that it had this magic tool of thickening the surface,
Yeah.
and then that will just make the surface exactly the same, on the inside as well as on the outside.
Yeah.
And just process a little bit quicker, and then you can straight away 3D print it. This is the tool that I use in Fusion 360, so I thought that it might be helpful to share this with you. Otherwise, I think this this software is really wonderful. So, yeah.
Well, we really appreciate your feedback and anyone's feedback because we want to really make sure that any new tool or feature that we add to Gravity Sketch is really helping people in their workflow, and not just for the sake of adding a cool new feature or something. We really want it to be relevant to the people that are using the tool. And so, feedback is super crucial for us. And to your point there with surface thickness, we've definitely received that point a lot. Especially from footwear designers. They say the same thing. They just want to be able to thicken their surfaces that they make in Gravity Sketch, and it just would save so much time, and it really would, and it would make it also immediately 3D printable as well, which is really great. That's a huge benefit. And so surface thickness is definitely on our list of things that we want to do in Gravity Sketch. As far as when we'll be able to implement it, I think it's up in the air, but it's definitely something that we've clearly been shown is a need in the workflow, in the pipeline. So I think if I remember correctly from some of our chats with our product team, it's kind of a technical sort of feat that needs to be done in order to get it to work. Just like some of the processing power necessary to do it might be a little demanding. I don't know if I remember correctly, but yeah, that's definitely one that is on our radar for sure.
That's great. I'm just making myself a chair to sit on.
Oh yeah, maybe we can turn off the stage floor and then I can see it. There we go. Yeah, messing with textures and everything is something that I haven't done enough of, I don't think, in Gravity Sketch. We recently had our competition, our Gravity Sketch and Keyshot competition challenge finalists present their designs, and there was this one group that created just like a whole presentation using PNGs and textures, and it was really quite interesting. I think pushing the boundary of what can be done in VR. So, but yeah, and is there any other feedback that you have for us, by the way, just about Gravity Sketch, things that you wish you had? I know it's kind of early for you as far as using the tool, but if not, that's fine.
No, I think, yeah, just thickness is really what some of the difference for me. But otherwise, no, I'm really happy with exploring it and creating more and more designs in the Gravity Sketch. So, and I just want to say that it did take me quite a few attempts to actually think that I can create something in Gravity Sketch. I think VR can be quite overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
and just don't be discouraged by the whole VR thing. It probably taken me like 15 hours before I even decided to make something. So I just explored, and I used this great feature here, which was learn, and then I just followed step-by-step instructions on how to create headphones. And then I became a little bit more confident that I can make something.
Well, it's really good to know that those are helping. We just added those learning those educational videos, the beginner tutorials. Those are a little bit more of a recent addition, and they really were just for that purpose. Was, if somebody's jumping right into Gravity Sketch, how can we help them be confident about making things, and then a step further is, what are some workflow videos we can have in here to really show them how to approach a problem, how to approach a design. And so we would like to add more videos here in the workflow chapter as well. But I'm really glad to hear that those helped. So that's great. I just want to ask you, where is the best way to follow your work? Obviously, I'll be sharing your Instagram in the description for the video, but are there any other places that you'd like people to follow you or stay up to date with what you're doing?
I just have one social media account, which is Instagram,
Okay.
underscore Savosina, and yeah, I just limit myself to one.
Perfect. Well, that makes it simple then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely link that in the description so people can follow your work. And I just want to ask you, and we can transition back to cameras if you want. Let's see here.
Do we come out now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take off that.
Red faces.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Just fade this over. Yeah, a little bit of a red face from VR on my end as well. I just wanted to ask you, and this is a question I've been asking a lot of our guests, which is, do you just have any words of wisdom or advice for any other designers, artists that are watching right now, trying to make their way through the industry, maybe even through fashion design specifically? They want to work in that industry. Do you have any advice that you'd like to give them?
I mean, oh gosh.
I know it's kind of a big question, but yeah.
It's hard to sum it up to something something in particular, but if I had to, I would probably say just look after yourself and eat healthy food, exercise, and just do things in a good natural way. Talk to people who make you happy, because it will all be reflected in your designs, and if you are not happy, then your designs are not going to be reflecting anything good. I suppose
That's really profound, actually, I think. I mean, your work emulates how you feel, and if you're not happy, your designs are, to put it simply, are not going to be happy either. It's like it's there. I've definitely I think I've experienced that personally, where I'm like maybe not quite passionate or fully invested in what I'm doing, and the work just kind of feels a little bit dull or a little bit lifeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that anybody expects you to become super good at anything overnight. And if you do struggle with something, just give yourself time and probably just discipline in the way that you are not breaking your back at doing something, but you still enjoy it, and then it will bring you joy, and it will bring others joy too.
That's so true. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it'll spread.
Yeah. Like a ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you again, Ekaterina, for your time and for showing your process. It was really, really cool to see your like rolled leather process and everything. Super unique. So thank you for showing that to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And if any of you have joined a little bit late, This will be available as soon as it's over. You can watch it from the beginning. We do these every week, so make sure you tune in. We'll be letting you know when they're coming. And yeah, I mean, if you would like to be on the show as well, just send us a message, and we'd take a look at your work, and we'd love to have more people on. So, but thank you, Ekaterina, once more, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. I look forward to seeing what else you experiment with.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your help, and thank you for getting in touch. And it was wonderful to share this with you and be part of this journey with you. I'm sure the Gravity Sketch is only gonna get bigger and bigger and better for all the other people who are using it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your support, and it's just our pleasure to lift up and support amazing designers like yourself. So thanks so much, and I guess we'll leave it at that. Thank you, everyone that's been watching, and have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Okay, cool.